Welcome back to LarryB YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful cowl blouse that we see here with cut together collar. You can see it has fullness around the chest area, and it has a collar that is cut together with it. It's a very free blouse. As you can see, it's not tightly fitted, and it is a sleeveless blouse. So I'll take you through how to cut and sew this neatly so that you can have a neat finish just like we have here. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is a cowl neckline with collar. Okay, and the collar is cut together. So the first thing I'm going to mark on the upper part is the collar allowance. So I want my collar to be around 2 inches. Okay, so I'm marking that 2 inches, and then I'm going to make it into a straight line. So the first 2 inches that I mark here is for the collar. So after that, I'll start taking my actual measurements. So my armhole is 9 inches. My waistline is 15, although I don't really need the waist measurement because it's going to be a free blouse. And then my full length is 22 and half, which is just about the length of this paper. So I'm leaving it as it is. So here I'm going to replicate the measurement so that I can have a straight line. So this is the armhole line, this is the waistline, and the length of the paper is the full blouse length. So I'm going to label that. Okay, so just like you take your normal measurements, I'm going to mark my shoulder here. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. My neck width is going to be 3 inches for me, and then here I'm going to take the 7.5 inches downward so that I can mark my armhole line. So once I have a straight line here, remember to come down by 1 inch for your shoulder slope, which is going to be here. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here, and then here I'm going to connect for my shoulder slope. So like I said, it's just like marking your regular bodies. So here I'm going to get the midpoint of this and come in by an inch so that I can mark my armhole curve. So on the armhole line here, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4. For me, that's 11. I'll add ease to it, and then I'll add my seam allowance. Okay, so my 11 inches stops here. I'm going to add ease and my seam allowance to that. Here I'm going to mark. You can just take down what you have there, or if you want it shaped a little bit, you can just mark your waist measurement. My waist measurement is 36, divided by 4 is 9. So I'm going to add 1 inch for it, that's 10, and another 1 inch for seam allowance. And then on the blouse, I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4. First of all, divided by 4 is 11.25. I'm going to add my seam allowance and my ease to it. So now we're going to take your ruler and then you connect them together. Okay, so this is what I have. So this is my armhole curve as well. I'm going to go ahead and mark my armhole measurement, okay, by connecting all those points together. Okay, so now for the collar, what you just need to do is to take that measurement, that your neck width measurement upwards. Remember we marked 3 inches, so here I'm going to mark the 3 inches on the upper part as well. And then with my straight ruler, I'm going to first connect it, but you know this part cannot be sharp. So here You can use your free hand, or if you have a cuff that can do that. I'm trying to see if this cuff can give me something smooth. So if not, I'm just going to use my free hand to try to blend it with my shoulder, something like this. Okay, so make sure you blend it in with your shoulder very well. So this is all I need now. I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to use this pattern to introduce the drapes that we're going to be having on the shoulder to give us the cowl effect. So I'll cut out exactly what I have in this pattern. Okay, so after cutting it out, this is what you have. Like I said, we're going to be introducing volume on the shoulder area. So you come here to your shoulder. For me, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on the shoulder line, 1 inch interval from here. So I'll mark one here, another one here, another one here, and another one there. Then I'm going to be connecting it in a vertical form towards the center fold here. So here I'm going to go ahead and connect the first one. So from my point, I'll connect like this, and then for the second one, I'm going to connect and do the same thing for the third one, and the same for the last one. So these lines that I have here are going to be my slash lines, and I'm going to be slashing them from the shoulder towards the center. So here I slash the first one, the second one. So in order to be able to spread this, remember you need to open up somewhere to transfer all of this. So for this, it's a cowl blouse. You can decide to just open your armhole line, but that was going to introduce too much volume, and I don't want to have too much volume for mine. So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead and spread towards this side, so in such a way that I'm just going to be folding the armhole area a little bit. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm just folding my armhole a little bit like this. This is not going to affect my armhole measurement. Then I'm going to try as much as possible to spread. You can see how I'm spreading this, just to introduce a little bit of volume on that shoulder area. So to spread this, we're going to bring in a fresh pattern like this, and then we're going to be spreading on a fresh pattern just like this. Okay, so with my glue, I'm going to glue down the first one, and then the other ones will just follow like that. So when you are spreading, make sure that your center front remains straight, because we are going to be cutting on fold. So this part has to remain straight. So you can just go ahead and glue down that part as well first before you start spreading the rest. Okay, make sure you have something straight at your center front like this. Then the space that I have here, I'm just going to manage and then spread it across what I have here. You can spread this first one more. Okay, so I'm being careful because the paper is soft and I don't want it to be ripped. So I'm just spreading a little bit more so that I can have more space to spread the other ones. Okay, so now we are going to be spreading all of this like this, and then I'm going to glue it down. Okay, so once we have it like this, the next thing is to get a straight line for your shoulder. So now I'm marking my straight line for my shoulder, and then I'm going to blend this into the armhole that I have. That's what we have. So here I'm just trying to check to see that I don't have a shortage on my armhole area. My armhole is actually 9 inches, so I'm just marking to see. So here I have 9 inches and I still have my same allowance there. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out this shape that I have, and this is the pattern that I'm going to use to cut both front and back. So for the back, You can add some allowance to it. Remember, the neck is like a turtle neckline, so, and you will need to wear it, so you may add a zipper allowance for your back when you're cutting your back. Okay, so here, this is the center front, and this was what I was explaining. Make sure that your center front remains straight so that you'll be able to cut and fold. So here, the little that I have here, I'm trimming it off. So now I'm going to bring in my fabric, place it on it, and then cut out exactly what I have here. So on this upper part, remember I used my exact 2 inches collar, so I'm going to be adding allowance for turning on the upper part, and then I'm going to add in allowance as well. I already added allowance to the side of my pattern, so if you need more, you can add to your fabric. Okay, so I have placed this on my fabric, and I use this to cut it out, and I just added allowances all around it, as you can see. So this is the front and this is the back with the allowance. So you can fix a zipper at the back for ease of wearing, or you can just open a slit there and then you put buttons there. Whichever one is fine for you. But if you're fixing a zipper, I advise that you just fix an invisible zipper so that's not going to be so obvious. So this is the armhole here. This is what it looks like now. So by the time we gather this back to what it's supposed to be, remember my actual shoulder is 4.5 inches. Okay, remember my back is the total shoulder measurement that I have is 7.5. Then I use 3 inches for my neckline, so I have 4.5 inches left for my shoulder. And right now, after spreading, this is about 8.5. So I'm going to be gathering it back to that actual measurement. Okay, so now after cutting this out now, I have gone now to cut out a facing for both the front and back. The facing is just a smaller version of what you have here. So this is for my front. You can see it's exactly the same thing, but it's just stops around here. Okay, that's why it's called the facing. That's what I'm going to be using to turn the neckline, the shoulder, and the armhole. Because there is no sleeve in this, I need the armhole to be neat, so that's why I need the facing this long. So I cut facing for both the front and the back. So now I'm detaching the pins, and then I'll go ahead to sew this on the sewing machine. So to sew it, you're just going to lay your facing. Okay, remember to notch where your, although it's obvious for me, remember to notch where your shoulder measurement stops so that you don't sew your collar together with your shoulder. So now I'm going to lay my fabric like this. This is what I have. So now you're going to bring in your facing and then lay it on it as well. So once you lay your facing, you go ahead and sew close the upper part here, which is like the neckline, and then you sew the collar and then stop where your shoulder is. You leave the shoulder open, and then you go ahead and sew close the armhole as well and turn. So I'll do this for both front and back. Okay, so I'm going to sew it. You can see I used the lilac thread so that we can see exactly where I sew on. So for the back, I sew on the neckline, which is here, and then on my zipper allowance, and then also I sew on the armhole area. So here on the armhole, you notch it so that I can open up well for you. So this total shoulder area is left opened like this. So I did the same thing for the second side of the back, and then I did the same thing for the front as well. So on the front, you sew your neckline, then you sew your armhole and leave the shoulder area opened. So now for the back, I'm going to flip it to the right side, and I'll do the same thing for the front as well. So here on the back, if you want to fix your zipper, you can actually fix it now. Now is a good time to fix your zipper. Then we'll go ahead and join the front and back together. But for me, I'm not going to be using the zipper for this, so I'm going to close the center back and then leave like 4 to 5 inches so that I can wear it. Then I'm going to fix a bra hook or a button at the neckline area to close it up. So you can use whatever it is that you want. Okay, so for me now, I take it to the same machine now and close the back. Okay, so now I've gone ahead to sew the center back together, and then I iron this. Okay, so make sure that you iron it well so you can see what the armhole looks like now. It's neat, the neckline is neat. So the last thing to do now is to lay your front and back on each other, just like this, and then you are going to be turning the shoulder. Remember, we did not turn the shoulder yet. So now we are going to lay front and back on each other, and then I'm going to be turning it in a way that is going to be neatly concealed. So this is my front shoulder, this is my back shoulder. So I'll just turn like this. Okay, this is the back shoulder, then I'll pick one of the front shoulder and then flip it like this, just like we turn our normal shoulder, so that one is going to be inside the other. By the time I'm done sewing it, it's going to be neatly finished. So now I have turned them against each other like this. Now remember, I said you should notch where your shoulder is going to stop. That part you are going to sew it straight. Mine stops here, so I'll sew straight up to here. Then from here to the hip, I'm going to be gathering it back to my actual 4.5 inches measurement, which is my shoulder measurement. So if you don't want to gather, if you want to add pleats to it, all you just need to do is to bring in your pattern and then notch where you introduce the spaces so that you can place pleats on it. So once you notch it, all you just need to do is to start pleating like this and like this. But I'm not pleating mine, I'm just going to be gathering it back to the actual size. So I'll do this for the two sides, then after that I'll go ahead and join the shoulder and hem the lower part. Okay, so now I have gone ahead to sew it. You can see on the neck, the collar area, I sew it straight, and then from there I gathered the rest. I'll do the same thing for the other side. You gather the rest, and by the time you flip it to the right side, it's going to be neatly finished, both in and out. So you can see this is what it looks like on the inside, and this is what the outside looks like. So the same puffiness that you have in front, all this extra puff. So once you bring out your armhole, okay, you can see your armhole is no longer looking funny. It's going to introduce some volume around the chest area, just as you are seeing now. So this same volume is going to be at the back as well. So if you don't want this, you can just do a normal back. Okay, you can just cut a normal back with normal shoulder. So it means the shoulder of the back is not going to be extended, it's just going to be your regular shoulder. So you just use that as a guide to gather the excess that you have in front on it. That way your back is not going to be so bulky, like, because by the time you add zipper to this, it's going to give you that extra fullness at the back. So if you don't want that, you just cut your normal back. And also for the neckline, I use 3 inches for mine. I use width of 3 inches for mine. So if you don't want it to be too tight, okay, especially if the person is on the big side, you can use between 3.5 to 4 inches, or even 4.5 if you want the neck area to have excess, like to be free on the neckline. So I'll not really advise that you use 3 inches like I did in mine. So those are the things that I want us to know. So now I'm going to take it to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so now this is what we have. You can see how the fullness that we added with our slash and spread is on the neckline area. You can see that it is a free blouse, it is not tightly fitted, and it's really beautiful. So like I was explaining, if you don't want all of that fullness at the back, you can see this extra fullness that we have at the back. If you don't want it, then you just cut your back the normal way. You make sure that it's not all the excess that you added on the shoulder, you don't add it to the back, so it's just going to be at the front. I hope you enjoy making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.